Lauren and Danny.
Hello.
We are back.
How are you?
We're always here. Little technical difficulties.
We had a little Facebook Live snafu.
A little snafu. That was crazy. We were sideways.
You know, I updated my iPad today to iOS 12, so I thought maybe it was that. I don't know.
It could be. Who knows?
But we're back. So if you're on Facebook, you could see our lovely faces.
And if you're not, you can tune in to TuneIn Radio. Go to Homegrown Radio NJ. If you're sitting at home and you have Alexa, play Homegrown Radio NJ. Pipe us through your house.
I gotta do that. I gotta be like, hey, girl.
No, it works. It works.
Girl, play some Homegrown. My dog Felix, you're at home. If you're listening, tell Alexa.
Homegrown.
Be like, girl, play some Homegrown Radio NJ. I wish you could change Alexa to like a different command. Like you could give her a name.
Yeah, right. Well, that's her name. There's only one Alexa.
I know, but I want to be like, hey, boo.
Right.
Right?
That's coming. That's coming.
That is coming. I'm sure it is.
So,
how are you?
I'm good.
Are you enjoying this lovely weather?
You know what? Yes and no. Over the humidity.
You know, I had to pop a Allegra this morning.
I know, right? It's weird.
I'm over it. I'm over like my eyes itching during the day.
No, my eyes were itchy last night. I was literally scratching my eyes.
I got out of my car here and all of a sudden I'm like, why do I have to blow my nose? And there's nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over it.
I know. You're over it and hasn't even begun yet.
I want winter to come and I know you don't, but winter is coming.
Winter. It is coming. I'm ready for fall. I'm ready for fall.
Can I just tell you a quick story last night that happened to me? There was a moth in my room.
Ugh.
And the moth would not leave.
Oh, God.
Kevin's looking at me weird.
I hate bugs.
Oh, so you would hate... So this is why I couldn't go to sleep. So it was in my room. Then it flew into like the lighting fixture. And I think this moth had 10 lives because... Sorry, folks. I couldn't open a window. I have screens and between my windows. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it ended up dying because I killed it like 5 times.
Did it explode into when you kill a moth and it becomes like dust?
No, because what
dust
happened
in the
was
wind.
First I whacked it with a towel.
Right.
And then it came back to life. And then I thought it was dead in the little lighting fixture. But then all of a sudden it started flying again when I turned the lights off. And then it flew behind a painting that I have.
Oh my
so then I
God.
took the painting off the wall. I took it off the painting. I threw it in the toilet bowl. I flushed the toilet. I walked away. I turned around. It was sitting on top of the toilet bowl.
Shut up.
I closed the toilet bowl lid, by the way. So it actually came out. So then I grabbed a shoe and I smashed it against the wall and dragged it. And yeah.
It was dead. All bugs matter.
Dead.
But
I'm
they
sorry.
They turn into like chalky
and I was
dust.
like, maybe it's a spirit.
Or I was thinking maybe it's like
come back to like
Jeff Goldblum and like The Fly.
I don't know, but I was like, go away, just leave me alone.
I'm here.
I'm sorry. So any moth, any like ASPCA moth lovers out there, sorry.
Are they in the butterfly family?
Don't send me like
are moths are moths in the butterfly family?
I don't know.
What is the butterfly family?
Anybody out there? The butterfly family. Anybody
Anyone
out
know?
there?
Anyone know?
Kathy, Elizabeth, you guys know about the moth situation?
Can you let us know?
It's all hot in here.
It is. I put on the air.
She
Can you
did.
let us know about your bug?
And she was like, is it good in here? I'm like, it's good. And all of a sudden we get on the air and I'm like, I'm hot.
I'm like stripping down. I'm like, it's so hot. So, we had a great interview last week with Stephanie Gould. She announced her show.
Yes, congrats to Stephanie if you're listening out there.
At the E15, I never pronounce this right.
Bernie and Mickey,
and it's the E59 Street.
It's East 59, East 59.
Theater.
Yeah.
I like.
You just gotta repeat yourself. East 59, East 59.
It's a really cute theater. Have you ever been?
I haven't.
It's a nice
I mean, I
space.
passed it before.
So congratulations, Stephanie. We did have a little problem with the recording last week. So what we're hoping to do is rip the sound from our live feed and then put it onto a podcast. But I still have to
rip it.
Rip it
Right out. Get out there.
I had a great interview on Sunday.
Yes, you went rogue.
I did. I go rogue every once in a while. I go rogue.
I'm going rogue.
I'm going rogue today.
I think you just want to say you're going rogue.
I do. I just like saying that. I want like the white streak in my hair. It's like an X-Men thing. But I talked to Laki Masonov. We were right, Masonov.
Oh, I know.
And
je parle français?
Yes, and she is a fascinating woman. We hit it off right away. I absolutely adore her.
Yeah.
And her story is crazy. So she wrote this book, A Girl Raised by Wolves. And when you hear her story, you're like, no shit. Yeah, you totally were. She is a straight talker. I mean, we got along really well.
Was she in studio?
She was in studio.
Nice.
And her story is her parents, were divorced. And her mother bought her and her sister a one-way ticket to live with the father in Florida. Dirt poor, alcoholic parents, flee bag hotel on the side of the road, and he sold her into sex trafficking when she was like 10 years old. I know. It's like you can't laugh about it, but
No,
you're
but
like,
it's more of like a
"Shit."
shock,
Like it's
like-
like shock and awe, right? So, but her spirit is amazing. She ended up, having cancer in her life, and then her mother was like brutally murdered. Which is still a cold case. I have no idea. She was a suspect at one point, but she is happily married, and she has 2 kids, and now she teaches yoga in prison.
Oh my God.
So she flipped it around. She is just so damn cool. So Lockie, if you're listening, I adore you. I owe you a text
That's
message.
awesome.
Buy her book. You can go to her. It's called I believe it's girlraisedbywolves.com or LockieMasonov.com. You could buy her book there, or it's available on Amazon. So really cool stuff. That podcast I'm going to get up this week. That won't be on our Chew the Scene podcast. That'll be on my Lauren Moran Mills podcast page. So today, and I'm going to call him in 4 minutes because I just sent him a text message. We are going to be talking to Wendy Lane.
We're not talking to Wendy
We're
Lane.
not talking to Wendy Lane. I actually talked to Wendy Lane this morning, my girl. Fierce woman. We had a great early morning meeting this morning. But I'm going to call Ari Frenkel.
Yes.
And Ari, if you are from New Jersey or from Montclair,
Yeah.
Montclair
Yeah,
State
there's some
mostly,
yeah.
he's a Montclair State guy, and he lives in LA. He's been on Silicon Valley, a couple other shows, and he has a top performing hit web series called Sorry Ari. They are fabulous. They are, no more than 5 minutes?
Oh yeah.
If even that, maybe 6. So they're 5-minute episodes, and they are so brilliantly written. Dave Murgatroyd into his house. What's up, Dave? You should have come in today. And Kevin, our producer, he keeps us in
The
line.
sound is in check,
Yes.
Kevin.
Say hey to
No
Kevin Lynch.
peeking, nothing.
Nothing.
Sounds great.
We love you. So so Ari is amazing, great actor, writer. He created
Yeah.
this series and
Directed,
directed,
the
and
episodes.
I'm watching I'm like laughing my ass off, like by myself.
I'm smiling the whole time.
I know,
And I
it's-
just feel like when you watch something and you're just smiling.
You're enjoying it.
So before we bring him on, though, I have a little bit of a beef.
You
with
better come in when I get my own episode. Yeah, okay.
Yes, Dave, come in.
Come in, Dave.
So I have a bit of a bone to pick with you.
What? Oh, no. He's holding out on me. Tell me.
Hold out. Mary Poppins Returns.
Oh, no.
Let's talk.
Oh, you better listen, Dave Murgatroyd, when I call Ari, and you got to have some questions. I told
Kevin.
you to come in today.
Get your ass over here.
All right, Mary Poppins.
Mary
I
Poppins
know.
Returns. So let's
listen.
just give
I
some-
wasn't hating
Hold on,
on
wait.
it.
Let's give some context.
Okay.
So Lauren posted the trailer, and it was so funny because when I commented, she's like, "I've been waiting for you."
I knew
'Cause
you
I
were
was gonna
coming.
share, but I was going to share the trailer.
I know.
And you wanted to get people's opinions on it, and I'm excited. Why am I excited? Because Lin-Manuel Miranda's in it.
But-
Meryl Streep's in it too.
It's not enough for me to get
And
excited.
you were like, you're on the fence.
You know why? First of all, a little thing about me. When everyone gets excited about something, I'm like, hey.
She's a Debbie Downer.
No, I just am like, I pull back a little bit. And it's not that I don't think it's beautiful. I love the original Mary Poppins. I don't, Kev, how do you feel about Mary Poppins?
It's like the
Okay.
original.
The
Do you like
original.
The original with
Julie
Andrews.
It's okay.
Right? I mean, Dick Van Dyke. Listen, that gets me all excited, Dick
Well,
Van Dyke.
you wanna know something?
Okay, he still looks the same.
Okay. I saw the original Mary Poppins. I'm not like, oh my God, Mary Poppins, I love it. It's the best thing in the world. So to me, I'm kind of, and I always do this with remakes and entering. I always kind of enter it.
But this isn't a remake, it's a sequel.
It's a
Let's
sequel.
all be clear.
Yes, it's a sequel. And I kind of enter into things separately. Like, I'm not looking at the original. I'm not
Right.
looking at, Julie Andrews versus Emily
No, you
Blunt.
can't. No, I mean, we can't. I mean, let's not compare people. That's not what we're here
I think
to
for
do.
me, it's because I'm just like a.
You know,
I'm just a crazy Lin,
You
Lin
are.
fan. So
You
I
are.
and he's got a British accent.
it's adorable. And listen, no, and I didn't say. I said my Facebook is divided between the people who are excited about Mary Poppins and the people who don't know the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, literally. I mean, because I have like one half that's like Mary Poppins, and other half's like
It's Mary Poppins. Oh my!
But you know
God.
what movie I am excited about is the Laurel and Hardy movie.
I haven't seen the trailer for that yet.
I got like a little like verklempt.
Who's playing Laurel and Hardy?
It's John C. Riley. And Dave, help me
yes.
out. I don't know who the other one is. Dave,
Yes.
I'm going to be calling on you a lot.
Yes.
Help me out here. But I got a little verklempt about it
doing over
because
here?
I
Let me
grew
see.
up on with the Laurel and Hardy, like
Well,
Abbott and Costello, Laurel
too.
and
I'm
Hardy.
excited for Laurel and Hardy because, and it's so funny because at the growing stage we're doing Babes in Toyland.
Well, that's what I'm
I've
just
done-
gonna. Yeah.
And I did Babes in Toyland, and I played the Hardy part, Oliver Hardy part.
Yeah.
And Peter Felicia said that if they ever did a biopic, that I would be perfect for the role. So what
Listen,
the hell? Why am I not in it?
Why is it John C. Reilly?
So,
know.
that's like that's one of my big, I guess, actor compliments that I've taken with me. So I will be excited to see that. What's it called though?
It's called like Ollie and like I can't remember what his I'm like it's not Stella. I don't know why Stan and Ollie or something. Ollie and Stan, yeah.
Oliver Hardy.
But I'm excited.
Oh, Stan and Ollie.
Stan and
Yeah.
Ollie. So let us know what your opinion is on Mary Poppins. And like I'm not hating.
John C. Reilly.
I didn't even think I was hating.
Oh,
He's
Steve
hating.
Coogan.
He's hating. I'm not hating.
Why are all these remakes? Can't we come up with
It's
something
not a remake, it's a
freaking
It's not a
sequel.
remake. It's a sequel. It's a sequel because
You
I'm gonna
guys
tell
talk
you,
about it. I gotta get
the Banks
Ari on the
kids are much older now. Michael's wife, I believe, has died, so he's with that's his sister in the trailer, right? So the Banks kids are older now. They have Michael has his own children, and Mary comes back, and they say, "Well, why are you here?" And she goes, "I'm here to take care of the Banks children." And the little kids go, "That's us." And she goes, "Oh, you too." So I think she's come back because the original Michael and whatever the sister's name is. What's the sister?
Jane.
Jane and Michael need Mary again in their life because they're adults now and they're going through hardship and they just need a stern British lady to.
Yeah, because she screwed up the first time. Great. Good job, Mary.
And
How'd that sugar help?
and Dick Van Dyke is in it again, but he's not Bert. He's playing Mr. something. I have no idea. Lin-Manuel's in it.
I
He's got
don't
a
know.
British accent, and that's all I care
There's
about.
too much
Meryl
info
Streep
out
is
there.
in it.
I love Meryl Streep.
She's in it,
Oh.
and you know that she's going to eat that. She's going to eat
Well,
up
she
the
only
screen.
takes roles that are like specific for, like that she could actually play.
And that she likes.
Yes.
I mean, and so she must. And it's Rob Marshall.
It's Rob Marshall.
Well, he did Into the Woods. He did the Into the Woods film.
I didn't like Into the Woods.
Here, neither did I. Here,
And-
watch your
but he
leg.
did Chicago.
Lift.
Chicago, guys. Did you like Chicago?
Good, down.
Anybody out there? like
Chicago, the movie,
Still there?
I guess.
Rob Marshall.
Sorry, I just said something.
All right, we're gonna go live here in a minute.
Yeah, I'm like,
He's here.
I'm here. Just, I'm like,
Okay,
I'm
sorry.
struggling here. Struggling here.
This is
Mary,
like-
Mary Poppins Returns.
Oh, I don't have to hand this to you.
Fans
So
out
anyway,
so there's a Lauren's.
but I wasn't hating. It's so funny. I
she was
just
hating.
no. You know my tone.
I do know your tone. But you want to know something? She was not hating because when she posted, I said, "Oh yay, she's sharing something I'm excited about." And all of a sudden, I saw a comment that Lauren put where she said, "I'm on
mad
the fence,"
about it.
and I was like,
No,
"Oh,
I said I'm
hell."
mad. I said I'm
I
mad.
was like, "I can't wait to."
You're
I
like,
can't
I'm
wait
gonna
to
kick your ass. Okay.
Get in her face.
So
All right.
on the phone, so he's like rushing me along. He's like, Shh,
Yeah,
Kevin.
he's cracking
So
up.
anyway, enough about us. So we have Ari Frenkel all the way from LA. 3 hours
Hey.
difference.
Hey.
Hey, what's
What's
up,
up,
Ari?
guys?
How
Hey,
are you?
Ari.
I'm good. I'm right on brand right now because right before you called this like big truck. Am I allowed to curse?
Yes,
Oh,
we
yes,
love swearing,
please
by the
do.
way.
This big. Sorry, yeah. Well, we're all from New Jersey, so it's part
Of
of our
course,
blood, right? Yeah, this big fucking like leaf blowing truck, something right outside my window. So I've retreated into a closet so that I can hear you well. So
I think that could be a fucking episode. Hey, seriously?
Yes, there you go.
I don't know who'd want to watch that episode.
I'd watch
Oh my
it.
God.
I'd watch it, Ari. So I love your show, by the way.
Yes.
Thank you.
I love it. I think that you are a smart writer. I think you're funny. I think you're charming.
Thank
There's
you.
like no throwaway jokes. And there's a couple episodes that I really love. I love the election one, to me. So clever. I know you didn't get to see that one.
I didn't
yet.
get to see that one. The first one I saw was the Hamilton one.
Which I know. I'm like, Danny, you have to watch the Hamilton one. So before we get started with the show, let's tell our listeners a little bit about who you are. From New Jersey, Montclair State. Now you're in LA. So how did you get into acting? Is it in the family?
I started acting in, community theater in New Jersey. And I just fell in love at a very young age. And I
Right.
did, all the high school shows and all the community theater shows. And then I went to Montclair. I studied acting there. And then I did a lot of theater professionally in New York and around the country. And then I really had a passion also for creating my own content and trying to figure that out. And I made a lot of like garbage at first, but I did it. And eventually people were like, you should not be in New York. So I came to LA for 3 months, but never left, which is kind of the story here. Either you come and hate it and you leave, or you stay. So I've been here almost 7 years, 6.5 years. Yeah, and I really love it. And I've been working pretty steadily in television and creating a lot of my own content, and trying to get my show on TV now too. So
now you've been on Silicon Valley, which I love that show. What was that like to be on? It's HBO. You're surrounded by all these, stalwart, actors, and some of them, like, I think we didn't really know of until Silicon Valley.
Right. So it was great. Yeah, it was a great. I was there for a day. It was there. We shot all day, several hours. Everybody was super nice and super complimentary. I was in like a pivotal scene in the episode, so it was cool that we got like a lot of coverage of the. Sometimes you might come in for a small stint and it's just like, okay, you're shot, you're in now. I've done those shows too. But I watched the show. I'm a huge fan of the show, so it was really exciting. There was a couple times when we were doing like a take where I would just kind of get caught up in watching the actors on the show and be like, oh, you can't laugh. You know what I mean?
Like, oh, shit. Was it intimidating? Is that intimidating for you?
I remember hearing this interview. I think it was Tom Hanks was talking about like when he was young and on a show, and it was the advice he gave Matt Damon when they were doing Saving Private Ryan. And it's like, not that I feel like these people are Tom Hanks or Matt Damon, but in a way of like, you can't be nervous. You're just not allowed to be nervous. Mm-hmm. So I kind of tell myself that. I was on a show that Paul Reiser created called There's Johnny on Hulu. I'm in a couple episodes of that. And Tony Danza was in that. And Roger Bart was in that. So, like, I watched those guys, too, as a kid.
Yeah.
And I just, once you're there, it's very demystifying. They're just regular dudes. And, and everybody wants to be treated like a regular person. If they don't, fuck them, But, I really I think there's something about my own ego and just wanting to, I see myself as just at a different point in my career than they are. They're no better or worse. And I think it really kind of helps give good work in that moment. And I'm sure I'll geek out when I get to do a scene with someone like Tom Hanks or Meryl Streep or someone like that. But, until then, I think you kind of have to trick yourself that they're an actor like everybody else. And that's the only way you're going to be able to, be real people for people to relate to when they're watching those scenes.
It's so true. And there's really no time for nerves.
There's no time.
No one got time for that, right? I mean, time is money. You're there to do a job.
And they paid you thousands of dollars over thousands of other people. Like, you better you better deliver, because if you don't, you'll get a track record for that, and then what? And then you won't get hired again.
No, that's true. You're right.
Yeah.
So Ari, when did you decide to start creating your own work? Was it? I know with a lot of actors and with web series, it's. They always say, I'm not seeing the characters that I'm right for out there. So, I'm going to start creating my own work. Was there something in your career while you were out there that you decided, I'm just going to start doing my own thing?
Well, when I was in like 21 years old, I made a feature that's a mess. It's called Pluto. And I didn't know what I was doing, but I just had this unbelievable tenacity. Like, I look back and I'm like, how the fuck did I do that? I don't know. But I got a little bit of money from my parents, not just a little bit, and it was like a very small feature, and it was I wrote about something I didn't know anything about, and I wish somebody back then said, "Yo, just write about you being 21 trying to be an actor," or something about relatable. But regardless, getting that done, accomplishing that thing, seeing this thing from my brain to a movie screen and getting it distributed and all that, and getting into film festivals, was the confidence that allowed me to keep creating work. And so over the last 10 years, I've really kept making stuff and getting better and really trying to get feedback from people and starting to really tell my story. And that was a big thing. I kept having like really shitty experiences in my life that I was like, this is pretty fucking funny in retrospect. And clearly, Sorry Ari was just something people would say and laugh because it rhymed. So it was so obvious that, okay, I can take these things and make the best of them. And so, like, it's now become a thing that when I'm in an experience and something bad is happening, I'm like, well, this is probably an episode. Like, I'm shooting an episode this weekend about last year when I had rats in my apartment because they got rid of a halfway house down the street and the rats fled to different apartments.
Oh my
shit.
God.
It was a nightmare, but there were so many things. It was like one thing after the other. And wait till you see this thing, because I didn't make any of it up. It's all so true. And I'm finding that, like, those things are really resonating with people. Or, like, I don't know if you guys saw, there's an episode that's a dramatic episode about an ex-girlfriend.
Yes,
We were just talking about
that one too. Yes.
That all happened. Like, there wasn't much dialogue I had to write. It was really like, it really came from the heart, and I didn't even write it at first as an episode because all of my episodes had been comedic. I just kind of wrote it almost as therapy of, like, this is what just I went through, and I sent it to the girl, and I was like, can I make this? And she loved, of course, now she's immortalized on screen, but like,
yeah.
like that. I'm finding, like, people seem to be really resonating with what is actually happening. And I wish someone told me at a young age, like, just, people say write what you know,
Right.
But it's like, it's more than that. It's not, because I think people dismiss that what they know is not interesting, but it is so interesting because your point of view is the only thing that you have that's
Right.
unique. I mean, it's the same thing as acting, right?
Yeah.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
The only thing that is going to separate you from everybody else is you. There's always somebody better looking, and maybe they're more trained or blah, 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 or whatever it is, or fatter or skinnier, but they're not you. It's literally the only thing that you have against everybody else.
Yeah, I gotta say, I mean, I completely agree. Your show is so relatable.
Oh my God, it is. I'm like,
yeah.
that's what I love about it.
And the wedding episode.
Oh, God.
I'm sitting there
Yes.
going, oh my God, that's my life. I think I went to like 16 weddings, over the summer. And
totally.
the whole time I'm watching it, I'm smiling, which to me is an indication
Yeah.
that I really like something.
I laugh out
And-
loud, actually.
yeah.
I'm like a guffaw.
And the whole time I'm like, they're going to sleep together. They're going to sleep together, watching it. And then all of a sudden it ends with your tagline, Sorry Ari. And you're like, oh man.
know.
But then it continues, when you come down and you talk to her. And you're relevant because then you say, I wanted to kiss you, but the whole Me Too movement, and I'm like, oh my God, that is the world we're living in right now.
No, it is so true. And we always say that actors are bringing truth to imaginary scenarios, but are they really imaginary? I guess it depends. I don't know, because this is truth for you. These are things that happen to you in your life, correct?
Oh yeah, I mean, the wedding episode was definitely something. I mean, I collaborated on that episode. I brought in a female director and a female writer too, because I wanted, create more opportunities, and it was interesting because I wanted to talk about the Me Too stuff, but I kept finding myself saying I shouldn't be the one to write this.
Right.
Like this
right.
is not, nobody really cares what I have to say about this, but I can use the vehicle of the show and the fan base to give somebody else an opportunity to tell that story. And so we worked on this. Great writer Ellen Etten and the director Stacey Robert Steele. We all worked together on coming up with what we wanted to say with this stuff. And I have all of those feelings on weddings. And it was good. It was a good way to kind of express something that I think a lot of people are experiencing right now. And when it came to the girlfriend thing, the obvious thing is, oh, okay, he doesn't get the girl, but it's like, no, but what if he gets the girl? And that's the problem, right? Because grass is always greener. I have plenty of friends who are in relationships, and they're like, man, don't you stay single. Everybody always thinks it's easier on the other side.
No, and it's true. The grass is always greener.
yeah.
And when the honeymoon phase is over and reality sets in, it's kind of like, oh, all that like euphoric feeling, it has to go away. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to function as a society if we were always like enamored of everyone. And we'd be like walking
That's
around
right.
like psychopaths. I mean, nothing would get done. So let me ask you, like, so as with this whole Me Too movement in general, what has it been like, for a male writing like, I know, which I love that you collaborated. I think that was a great move. Besides just giving opportunities, it just was like a sensitive move, I guess, because you don't want it to be kind of like one-sided. But do you find that it's harder now? Like, are you, when you're writing stuff, are you like, oh God, is this going to work, or is this going to offend someone? Or are you just like, fuck it, I'm doing it, I'm doing what I want?
I mean, I definitely have gone back and looked at other content I've made and cringed.
Right.
And it's like, but that's just, you can go watch a movie from the 90s and somebody's going to say some chauvinistic line and you're like, oh, well, it didn't have ill intention, then
Right.
you shouldn't go back and change things. But I definitely am just more sensitive of it. And I mean, it's interesting because I just feel like I shouldn't say anything about it because nobody really wants to hear what I have to say about that. So I feel like more inclined to talk about other things. And that doesn't mean that I'm not aware of it and that it's not doesn't have an impact on me. I mean, even in life, there's many days I'll hear something or say something and I'll be like, wow, I didn't realize how that came off, even though I have, no ill intentions with it. So that's really kind of it. Like, I'm not doing stand-up. I have done stand-up. It's not really my thing. But, like those guys, I think, are probably in a harder situation because, that their expression is, their truth.
Right.
And it seems to me that that's probably a difficult thing when sometimes people just don't, there's all these guys who have written articles and things like that about this subject and they're scrutinized for it. So I just kind of feel like now is not the time, like now is, you just shouldn't, you just kind of keep it to yourself and let the world evolve socially in that regard. Because at the end of the day, yes, it's extreme right now, but aren't we all just kind of trying to be less shitty people?
Right.
Right. Well, we hope. But now,
We
do you
hope,
feel
yeah.
like that affects art? So, like you mentioned, when you watch a movie from the 90s, like we watched Adventures in Babysitting, and I was like, I love this movie. And I was like, holy shit, this movie is really like the one line, he was like, you're a homo, I couldn't even believe it. And we just don't talk like that now, right? But that's how we were back then. Like you said, it wasn't ill intentions. It was just how we were. But do you feel creatively, since you are a creator, you're not just an actor, you do write, that you are now inhibited by all these social mores that we're kind of dealing with now? Do you feel like that holds you back?
I'm definitely inhibited as an actor, I definitely have less opportunities, I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
But, I believe a lot of these things are trends. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I'm not going to start complaining for white guys. We're doing just fine. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I just think, I'm sensitive of it, and I try, like, I wrote a television musical show that I'm going to be pitching soon that instead, I deliberately made the two leads female. Now, I probably wouldn't have done that in the past, mostly because I write to push my acting career as well and create opportunities for myself. But it's like, look, here's a trend. Why not try something different? Give yourself the fifth, sixth lead in it,
Right.
And that is kind of where I'm finding that it's kind of pushing me. But at the same time, it's like, well, how much should I even really be writing that female lead? Shouldn't a female be writing that?
Right.
So it's like this weird thing where you want to write your point of view while also giving opportunities for diversity who are not represented as leads or leading characters and things to come forward. So, I kind of just feel like part of me is artistically, I'm hitting a place where I really feel like I found my voice, and yet culturally, it seems like I've never had so many roadblocks stopping me from moving forward.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do you do? Like, just keep getting better until nobody cares the color of your skin or your gender or your sexuality or any of these things, which is what the other 90% of the people in the world have been dealing with up until now. So
No, no, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Talk a little bit about the post-production side of the show, because it's edited.
I know.
Incredibly.
It's not. Yeah, you're
so,
right.
I mean, how much are you involved in that side of it as well?
I edit it.
Really?
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I edited it. The newest episode I'm not, because the director is an editor, a professional editor, so he's going to do it, which is great. I edit it. I don't love editing necessarily. It's very tedious. But then once you get to the place where like the boring shit is done,
Right.
then it's movie magic. Then you've cut a frame and a joke lands, or like something means more because you added a few frames. Like I think every actor should edit, because you learn. Like, I always find it fascinating when like an actor is giving an acceptance speech about like, or talking about a scene, and it's like, you didn't even fucking shoot, unless it was one long shot. The editor created that performance,
Right?
Like, the editor decided what you are. They can make or break your movie or your short or your TV show, whatever it is. And I don't think people realize that until they're really in the editing room. And so I edit it myself, and then I have somebody else sound mix it. But I really like that control. And ultimately, when my show is on television, I will not edit it.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
Rightfully
no
so.
interest
You've
in
earned
doing
that.
So I would much rather have people who are much better than me at this.
Of course.
But at this point, when I'm funding these things myself and they
Right.
break my bank every time I do them, I think it's much more valuable to just figure this out and then eventually hire people who are way better than me to do these things that I'm doing on my own.
So how long did it take you to edit that Hamilton one? Because I mean,
Oh my
right off
God,
the
that
bat,
one
it's
is- that
it's a
one
little
is so
action
funny.
movie right in the beginning.
Oh my God, I was like dying. I was like, Danny.
I'm glad you guys like that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's fun. That's fun. I love Hamilton so much. I think it took me probably like a week or two, not long. I mean, I'm crazy. Like once I'm have my mind set to something, I just
Yeah.
there's no night out of drinking I haven't experienced before. I'll stay home and edit.
Yeah, I know.
So
Yeah.
and I try and just get them done. So it probably takes me like a week or two. That wedding episode I edited in like 3 days.
Okay.
But here's the thing that helps a lot is that when you're editing, when you're shooting, you're thinking about the edit in mind. So I'm not like shooting things that like I might use that. Like I know if I'm going to use that. So I'm not going to waste time on a like whatever wide shot of this or that, or because I'm like, I know that's not going to be useful to me in the edit. So, and maybe that's short-sighted, but because things are on a time crunch and a money crunch, it's just easier for me to be like, okay, here's what it's going to probably be. Maybe a couple of these things for some options, but then when it kind of flows together, I'm thinking about that on set. So it's really easy for me to remember, be like, oh, we just did that. That was really good.
Right.
I'm going to use that in the edit,
So I want to give a shout out. So we have a couple mutual friends, and his name is Dave Murgatroyd.
Dave Murgatroyd.
And he's calling
Who's
you
just
out
calling you out on Facebook
on
Live
Facebook
right now.
Live. He actually messaged me yesterday. He's like, you got to fuck with Ari. And I'm like, I tried to get him to come in today, but I don't know if he could. So he says that you blacked out at his wedding. I don't know if you wanted the world to know that. I don't know, Dave. I don't know.
Blacked out at his wedding?
Did you
I
black out
definitely
at Dave's wedding? Did you get trashed at his wedding? Who didn't get trashed at the
Who
wedding?
doesn't get trashed at a wedding?
Black out at his wedding.
But you and Dave went to school together, right?
Yeah. Dave's one of my best friends. We went to school together. We did a million shows together. And Dave is a very talented actor. You can hear he's getting that shout out. That's the only reason he's here. He just wants this DaveMurgatroyd.com shout out.
Yeah.
See his new pictures. He looks like hippie Jesus. He's great. I'd hire him.
He does. He looks like Thor.
Yes, but we definitely did not. I did not black out at his wedding. I'm sure we blacked out other times. But if
Not at the
Dave
wedding.
wants to call me out on drunk escapades, I think we should take a beat.
Call
Because
Call him out.
Call
Go
him
for
out,
it.
Dave.
I have seen
Threw down the
I have
gauntlet.
seen Dave at his drunken worst, and he knows
God.
that.
And I love they just said take a beat because that's my tattoo. That's to remind
Yeah.
me to take a fucking beat. When
Yeah.
So no, that's so funny. But no, I love Dave. I just did a show with him this summer. We met years ago at like an audition, and we've just remained friends. So he was pretty excited that I was interviewing you today. Now he did an episode, right, of Sorry Ari?
No, he hasn't.
But there was something with the two of you guys. What was
We
that?
shot something that he wrote last year.
Okay, that's what it was.
War.
Okay.
And I would happily put him in an episode, but we shoot them all here. I have
Right,
thought
so you're in LA.
about doing a going home episode, and he would be like my friend from home.
Oh, I love that.
But I just haven't shot that yet. It's tough because ultimately, you know, I'm really trying to get the show on television.
Exactly.
And I met with a bunch of big production companies about it, and it's kind of like, well, I guess I'm going to just... The good thing about this is, like, a web series is an incubator, right? So
Yeah.
you kind of figure out what works, and, like, the style changes. You know, I have, like, a black and white style film one, and the long shot one, and, like, the Hamilton one's kind of like a heist episode.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yes.
I found that online, and when I originally started the show, I never thought it was going to become that. But it did, and I think now when I pitch the show to TV networks, it is that, you know? And so... like, the thing is like, I might not get this show on TV for another 10 years. I might have to book, you know, 3 other television shows where
Right.
I'm just an actor in them until someone's like, okay, now we can see your Louis, you know, or whatever, that, you know, that type of show. And that's fine because it will just be something else in that time. I mean, TV will probably be something else in that time too. But I have I'm not married to any kind of like timeline. I really truly believe it can be the next Seinfeld, though. I really do.
Well, it's so funny. Oh my God, you're in my head because I was thinking, what is it like to pitch? Is it like Seinfeld, a show about nothing? Like, what is it about? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how is it pitching something? What is that like?
I think that's, you know, well, the difference with Seinfeld or like Curb Your Enthusiasm is those guys are kind of assholes, so bad things happen to them.
Right.
But I think my thing is a lot more reflective of life, is that I am a good-natured guy, and I have a pretty positive attitude. I love my self-help books and all that shit. And bad shit happens because that's what happens to everybody. But sometimes in my life, they seems to be like, you know, comically extreme.
Right.
So that's kind of how I pitch it. And now because of the stylistic stuff, I compare it sometimes to Moonlighting, which was a show.
Oh my
yes.
God! Please,
Bruce Willis.
Sybil Shepherd.
Yeah, Bruce Willis.
Love Moonlighting. Please. Yes, that was a great show.
So, you know, I mean, like, that is kind of where I go in that direction. But also the kind of cool thing about, you know, developing a show from a web series is I'm pretty open about what someone wants to do. You know, I had one guy who was like, yo, I think you should lean into your family and should be more about your family. It's like, all right, well, you know, if you want to give me a couple millions of dollars to make a season of it on Netflix, we'll make it be about my family. You know, like, I don't think it matters. I think at the end of the day, it's like my point of view is what's going to be the thing that transcends in terms of like storytelling and what's going to keep it original. And I have plenty of things in my life that are unique to me that I would, hope people would want to watch.
Right.
But I'm open in that regard.
You know, first of all, I mean, can I say this? You might Me Too me. I think you're adorable. I think your show is charming. I think you're...
You might Me Too me,
You might
she
Me Too me. No, I'm kind of saying, no, there's so many elements to the show that I love. It's your wit. It's smartly written. Like, I really have to tell you, I think one of my favorite episodes is the election episode.
Thank you.
And you're doing it all.
That was
You're
an
doing it all.
interesting thing. The election
So
episode
clever.
happened when I knew I wanted to write something, obviously, about the election, and politics aside, I was feeling very strongly about just feeling in the middle of things and hating Donald Trump, but not really wanting to not, I was a Bernie Sanders fan at the time, but regardless, I knew a lot of people in conversation were telling me that they really felt like they didn't have a real choice in the election, which is why I think it turned out the way it did. But I didn't want to play sides too much, and I was actually in Europe, traveling to several different countries with a buddy of mine from high school, and we just kind of talked it out. It was really interesting, and I was talking to a lot of Europeans about what they thought was happening in the election, and it was just kind of like it was a good time to try and, I don't know, do something different, because there were so many such clear one-sided things coming out. And what was interesting was right after the election, I had a bunch of interest from companies, and the day after Trump won, I didn't hear from any of these people again. And IndieWire was actually going to do a story on it because they liked the episode so much, and then we never heard from them. But then, like 2 months later, they put us on their list of best web series. So that was really cool, and that really helped push the show. But it was really fascinating how much of a shift there was after the election.
Yeah.
In terms of like support for the show, because nobody, I mean, everybody kind of went into like crisis mode.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. That's such a strong episode for me. I mean, they're all really good, but that one, you can't vote for him, you can't vote for her, but you can't vote for the other guy. I mean, it was like, it was so. I don't want to say it was vague because it clearly wasn't vague, but I like how it was political without being too political. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like
that girl, I have to shout out too. Like, my actors are so good.
Yeah,
and,
they
like,
really are.
The biggest difference in my work shifted. And I would give this advice to anybody creating their own content, is like, don't cast your friends who are actors, cast professional actors.
No,
And some of my friends are professional actors,
Yeah.
clearly. But, those people are so good. They make me better. The girl on that is now a series regular on Tim Allen's show. She replaced, I guess there's a daughter character, and now that it moved networks, they got rid of that actress and they replaced her with that girl, Molly McCook, who's amazing. And so, yeah, there's like, I mean, I'm sure you've seen a lot of the people on different television shows. I try and use people who are working, because they're good, and they come and they don't complain, and they do the job, and
they get it, and they get it. They know what it's like. They show up, they do it, and the end. And it's hard to work with friends. I mean, it's hard. I mean, I love my friends are professional actors, and it's not that I don't want to work with them, but there's just that little,
because you can't, all of a sudden you're sitting there going, oh, did I offend them, or did they take it the wrong way, and all of a sudden the work is not happening.
Right, right. Well, I definitely, the people who I still, because I am very close with some of the people who are actors on the show, they're pros, and who aren't, I don't use them, and that's it, and it's not just in their skill set, because there are, the best actor or actress in the world could be in Kentucky, not pursuing professional acting. Like, that talent, it's not that it's irrelevant, but like, I want people who are going to help promote the show, help push the show, have their own careers aside from these things, and their IMDb isn't just my, things that I put them in. Like, that's not helpful for anybody. So it's an interesting thing, and it can be tough, but at the end of the day, I find that the more collaborators I bring in, the easier it is to be like, sorry, it's not my decision anymore, And in the same way that if when my show gets on television, and if Netflix is like, cool, you can't use any of those actors except you, nobody would hold that against me.
No,
like,
it is what it is. There's no enemies and no friends in business. My mentor taught me that.
Right.
Even some. Because I work for a theater company, and I'm like, if I'm not right for anything this season to audition for, like, don't sweat it. Like, I'm not going to be like all bent out of shape. I get it. So that's actually, to me, that actually makes your series. It takes it to another level.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Not that if you were using your friends, it would be like, you know what I mean? It just, because are you auditioning these actors? I mean, are they submitting and you're hiring?
I don't. I mean, every once in a while, if there's like a role that's difficult to cast, I will. I've had a few actors put some things on tape, and I've had a few actors send me headshots and resumes. But you know what? Like, I don't want to waste anybody's fucking time. Yeah. And I know so many fucking actors, like so many fucking great actors that if I send you their name, they're going to do a great job on your set, and it's a like, if you think they're right for it, then they're going to do a great job. And so I know that's true for me too. And I haven't seen it go another way. There have been one or two actors that have come on that I'm like, oh, your attitude sucks, I'm never bringing you on, or you're annoying and you're pissing off the crew. But for the most part, like, that's also why my things, I think, do look great, because the efficiency of the crew that works together. I mean, my DP is unbelievable. This guy, Nate Cornett, if anybody's in LA looking for a DP, I highly recommend him. He comes in with a truck, one guy with him. Like, we don't have big crews, and this guy has never, I mean, like, I put him through the ringer of how much we shoot in a day. He never has ever complained, ever. And it's like, you want people like that, because at the end of the day, he's just excited to be there and be part of something and want to make something good. And when everybody has that kind of mission going into it, whoever on the crew, sound and actors and makeup and stuff, you're gonna get a good product. And you see it on TV. Like, you hear about these stories of Parks and Rec. I love that show so much.
Yeah.
And you hear about, like, oh, everybody was a family and blah blah, and you see it. They're having so much fun.
And it's
Right?
it shows in the work.
It's true. It's like I feel like watching your show, I was smiling because I could see yourself and
the camaraderie,
your company having a great time.
Yeah, you
you
can
know?
feel the camaraderie.
Listen, we talk about Silicon Valley and those in whatever TV shows. I am 100% happiest on my own set.
Yeah.
And I love being able to create quality content with my friends. I mean, it is such a it's such a gift. It really is. Like, it sounds cheesy, but it really is. And I truly love doing it, and I hope somebody pays me to do it soon.
Yes.
They will, Ari.
So tell our listeners how they can stream these episodes and also learn more about you as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm going to plug a couple websites. Go to sorryari.com. That's sorry, and the Ari is spelled ARI.com. There are 12 episodes. You can learn all about it. There's press. You can link to IMDb, see all the actors, et cetera, et cetera. New episodes coming out soon. I think we're probably going to have a screening in LA first to premiere it.
Aww.
That's tentative, but might try something new, get some industry people to see it. You can see more about me at arifrenkel.com. That's ARIFRENKEL.com. And my two friends of mine, who one of them is directed, I think, like 7 of the episodes, Justin Anthony Long, and then Joe Conti.
He's been on the show here.
And I was going to bring him up, too, in 1 second. So when you're done plugging, we'll talk about that.
Yeah. The three of us just kind of consolidated what we met in college. And, we're talking about people who are professionals I love to work with. Like, Justin is also a great performer, but he's a great director and writer. We collaborate a lot. And Joe is a great actor as well, and he's on the show. And we created a company recently called A125.
That's
which
what I want
was
to talk about, yes.
Yeah, it's the name of our college classroom, and we're just, it's interesting because it's one of these kinds of side jobs that complements our artistic careers, and arts education is really important to us. So what we're doing with this company is we are coaching. So it doesn't matter where you are, because we do FaceTime or Skype coaching. If you're going on an audition, I highly recommend coaching with someone, because I think a lot of actors are like, no, I'm great, I don't need a coach. You need a fucking coach.
Yeah, you do.
I don't care how good you are, you need a fucking coach.
Yeah, you need that other point of view.
Yeah.
The best actors I know, I fucking coach on everything. It doesn't fucking matter.
Right.
You need a coach. And it just, you don't realize, like, ideas that somebody just talking about it with someone. And the best coach is not going to be like, do this, do this, do this. They're going to collaborate with you, and you guys are going to make art together, But we coach live in LA, but on FaceTime if you are anywhere around the country. I make websites, actor websites for people. You
I
can
saw
see
that.
all 3 of those websites I made, so you can see those. And we do career consultation. If you're one of these people who wants to make some content, but you're struggling, I know there's all this advice for actors to make their own shit, and people just don't know where to start. We do privates, but we also are doing a career, content creator workshop next month, which is three Saturdays in a row, where by the end of it, you'll have a plan to develop and create your thing, whatever that may be. And and we do educational stuff too with high school and college kids. I mean, it's a new thing, so we're kind of getting our sea legs, but the especially the coaching and the websites we've been doing for years. So this was just, hey, here's 3 people I love to work with that I trust, that are going to work as hard as I am. And it is so refreshing, because the hardest thing about doing these Sorry Aris is that, like, at the end of the day, nobody cares as much as me, and I can't expect them to, Right. And so, I'm sitting here making fucking props for every episode and doing these things that eventually I'll be able to delegate to other people. But now with this company, I won't do something for a day, and Justin and Joe will have done 10 things. And that's so refreshing to have, people working at your level in whatever work you're doing. So, yeah, check those sites out.
I love it. You're basically an entrepreneur, though.
Yeah.
I mean, can we call you that?
Hey, you can call me whatever you want.
Because you do. You're like, you got your hand in this. I love your tenacity. I think that I know you're going to be on TV.
Yeah, you're doing it. I mean,
I just,
you're
it's like the
pushing, working
timing,
hard.
the timing of all this to happen. But I feel it. Your show is really, really good. And I'm not just saying that. I mean,
No, I appreciate it.
And I want to
And
say
then if
real
you
quick.
got,
Yeah,
Sorry,
go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, if you, please, if you know of anybody you think might like it, please push it. And how do you know my brother? Danny?
oh, yeah, Danny. Here we go.
Well, real quick, I just want to say, just to our listeners, to check out the episodes because they're short. I mean, you
Oh my
could get
gosh.
through. There's, I think, 12 episodes, right? 12.
12 episodes. Yeah,
And they're
some are
about
like
what?
a minute or two.
I mean, so you could really
5
get
minutes.
through your entire season quickly. So, I mean, I
It's so
highly
fun.
recommend everybody to check it out.
Definitely in under an hour, and also they're you can watch them in any order. That doesn't matter. There's no like major plot twists that you can't. You can watch
That's
them in
what
any.
I like about it.
I was going to say, too.
That was my
yeah.
favorite thing about it because I was binging the other day and I was just like, I was doing my work, had my coffee, and it was, I guess, is episodic. That's not the right word, but I guess it's not like, there's
Serial.
not.
Serial.
Yeah, and I like that because it's refreshing.
Uh-huh. Well, and I
You
also
know?
think, too, because the first one for me was Hamilton. It went Hamilton, The Wedding, and then I just saw the one with the ex-girlfriend, Maya. So they stand alone. They
Yes.
stand on their own, each one as well.
But there's still an arc to your cat. Like the thing is, it's
Yeah.
not like when I say it's not throwaway. There's still an arc to Ari. The character. Like there's still an arc there, but I don't have to watch this episode to know what's going on in this episode, and I think that's hard.
Well, I think you kind of got to do that with web stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, there are I see people who have garbage web series who have gone on to, like, much more success with their stuff than me. So what do I know? But I personally, like, you hear someone say, watch my web series, and you're like, go fuck yourself. I don't want to watch your web series. Right?
I love
get
you.
it. I get it.
I
I
love
don't want to
you.
do it. I don't want to watch a web series. But, like, at least if I am going to make something, let me make these things entertaining and short enough that you could watch any episode and you're gonna be like, oh, that was fun, or
Yeah.
have some feeling about it and
Yeah.
hopefully want to watch more. And if you didn't, well, then thank you for 3 minutes of your life,
Listen, when you come back to Dirty Jurors, we're going out
Yeah.
for drinks.
Okay, sounds
So-
good.
We're
We can
hanging
get
out.
blackout.
We're gonna
There
black
we can black out. There
with
you go.
Dave
We'll black out in
Murgatroyd.
Booten.
With Dave Murgatroyd.
So, speaking of Dirty Jurors, so when Lauren told me that you were coming on the show, I was like, I know him. I know his brother, Guy. We were at the National Theater Institute together. Yeah.
Wait, did I? Where was that? I must have.
It was Connecticut, Waterford, Connecticut.
I think I came to that, so we may have met.
So you probably, yeah. Because
So
are you
funny.
younger?
I'm younger.
Yeah.
I'm the baby.
So how many are there of you guys?
There's 3 of us.
3 boys?
Yeah, 3 boys.
Oh my gosh, my 3
My
sons.
poor mother.
I know.
Ah!
I don't know. I'm thinking maybe 3 girls might be even harder. So
Yeah, I don't know. She's tough as nails. So
God bless
There you
her. No, I think you're awesome. I was really looking forward to this. I know because I've been, we were friends on Facebook and I've been following you, and I just really admired you, and you're kind of self-made, and I love people like that who are like, this is what I want. I'm going to go out and I'm going to get it.
Thank you.
And you're successful at it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Well,
the thing
and
too.
it's interesting how in the beginning you mentioned how you went out to LA for 3, you're going to give it 3 months,
And you're still there.
and you're still there. And I think a lot of that has to do because you are working and you're creating, and you're not someone who just goes out there and expects the opportunities to come to them.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. I appreciate
Well,
that.
I mean,
I
yeah.
hope everybody, like young actors realize that too. It's like that's the only way. Especially in today's world, I mean, it's such a saturation with content. Like, and if you're just an actor, like you have to figure out ways to make your own opportunities because nobody cares. Like Tom Hanks can quit acting tomorrow, the world will be fine.
Right.
And I love
Exactly.
Tom Hanks. Whereas I think when you're the person who's behind the camera as well, or at least making it happen, even if it's just from a production standpoint, you just have so much more control, and it's going to give you so much more happiness.
No.
And you just got to go for it. I mean, I'm sure with your class at Montclair, I know for me, you look back at who you went to school with and how many are still doing it and how many aren't. And it's, for a lot of them, they went out there thinking, oh, I'm just going to it's gonna happen, and it doesn't, and they end up
Give
moving
up.
on, which is fine. But it takes work. It takes a lot of
It's sad.
sacrifice.
It's sad that happens. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think what happens a lot in colleges is, like there's like golden boys. And I will say, like, me and Dave Murgatroyd got a lot of parts in college. And so when you didn't get things right out of school, it's a hit to your ego.
Of
But I saw this happen with a couple of guys and girls from school where they went right out of school, they didn't get work, and that was it.
Yep.
And they just didn't have the tenacity after that to keep going and push through the hard time. Because frankly, you might have that one or two people who get some big Broadway show or a movie right out of college, but they're the exception. They're not the
Right.
rule. The rule is, chances are you're probably not going to even find what your marketable type is until you're in your 30s. Like
And-
Dave he's a handsome guy, but he was a handsome leading man, and now he's this awesome character, long-haired, Jesus-y type of guy. I never in a million fucking years would have thought that.
Yeah.
But now it makes so much sense.
Right.
It's even, look at how many people only do theater, and all of a sudden they get out there and now they've switched over to film and television.
Right.
And they found, like you're saying, they found something that I don't think they thought that they would be doing. They're just like, I'm going to be musical theater, and all of a sudden it's film and TV that they're actually working in.
And
That's a tough life, musical theater. You gotta
Oh,
find
yeah.
you gotta find a way to make on camera work, even if it's just commercial work. There's just no money in musical theater.
No, and I'm telling you, I'm trying to do the flip. I've been doing. My parents met in theater. My mom was pregnant with me when she was Lola and Damn Yankees. I spent my entire life in a theater. I teach musical theater. I direct musical theater. And I'm actually like, okay, I'm ready for something new. So I'm attempting to get into film and TV myself, and I've done a couple little things. I'm in like no rush though. I'm kind of like, I'm in no rush to be SAG and all that stuff. I'm enjoying figuring this shit out.
Yeah, you don't need to. There's no need. Especially any unions. Like I saw this happen with, and Dave will attest to this, and a couple other friends. They all joined the union as soon as they got out of school, and then they didn't work for several years because they thought they had to join the union, the theater union.
Right.
And I think that's true with SAG too. Like, don't join unless you have to. Like,
Yeah.
if the job wants to hire you, they will hire you.
Right.
Exactly.
But I worked in non-union theater for several years because there was work.
Yeah.
And they didn't care that I played a 45-year-old man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
No,
it didn't
that's-
fucking matter. In Florida for old people who are listening anyways.
But you know what? I wanted to go back because you were mentioning how, like, you and Dave or whoever, you had all the leads, and then, you got out of school, maybe you didn't get the leads, and it's very rare that someone gets like a Broadway show right out of college. Anyone can get that one big job. What's hard about this business is keeping it going.
Keeping it going, yeah.
Right.
How many people have like that one Broadway show and then that's like it, one and done? It's keeping that momentum to keep the work going, to keep on auditioning, because it's grueling. The grind is grueling.
I think it's like you have to go through this painful period to stay in it.
Yeah.
You have to go through a period where you're like, do I want this badly enough to go through these debilitating years? And if I survive them and I still want it, because I think some people, my brother was an actor and he quit and he just didn't want to do it and he was happy to quit, But like, if you can look back and be like, it was worth it. There's a great play. I think it was a movie too. I believe it's called Career. And at the end, and this guy goes through like World War II. He goes through all this shit to be an actor, and it's so horrible. All these bad things happen to him. At the end of the show, he's the lead of a Broadway show, and he's sitting in the back with a stage manager, and she's like, "Is it worth it? Would you do it all again just for this?" And he's like, "Yes, I would." And it's like.
Yeah.
In retrospect, of course, in hindsight is different, but I think that there's something to be said if you want to commit your life to something like this. Like, it's fucking hard, and there are no guarantees, But if you're enjoying the time along, like, if my show never gets on television, I certainly am having a good time making it,
And I always say for me, I'm like, I feed off of rejection. I know it sounds so crazy, and I love criticism. I'm like, give it to me. The other word, conflict. I love conflict because it makes me stronger, not even as an actor or director, because I really do directing choreography as a person. And I always say I'm a sucker for pain because and you know what? You have to feel that pain to get yourself to the next level.
I love that. I love what you're saying about rejection too. I remember reading an article last year that I've started doing was like, you should try and collect failures.
Yeah.
So, and rejections. So just keep a document of every time you get rejected from anything. It doesn't matter whether it's dating, acting, and whatever. And if you've made 100 in a year, it means you've probably had also a lot of successes.
Right.
It means you probably had a pretty effective year.
So great. Ari, thank you I could talk to you forever, but I have to go pick up my kids because I'm also a mom. But this is amazing. I will definitely take you out for a drink when you come to New Jersey, so you got to hit me up.
Sounds good.
So real quick, just tell our
One more time.
listeners again of the websites that they can check out.
SorryAri.com, 12 episodes. AriFrenkel.com, My Ego. A125studios.com for coaching and workshops and design and consulting.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
I will love you forever.
Yes, listen, I still have a couple more episodes to get through,
I know,
but
me
I'm going to
too,
do it.
but I'm definitely going to get
No,
through
you're
it.
so really. I wish you the best of luck. I really feel.
you.
I mean, I just have this feeling of success for you. You just have what it takes.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Don't and I know you won't give up. So I'm not going to say don't give up because I know you're not going to give up. Thanks for giving us your time today. And
say hi to Justin for us out there.
Justin
I will.
and Johnny and all those people that are out in LA having a great time. And like I said, when you're coming back to Jersey, hit me up.
Yeah.
I will. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Ari.
Good one.
Take
Bye.
care.
That was
All right.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
I love him.
I mean, you watch it and
That show is so good. I mean, it is really so good.
It's so well done.
I'm like, why is this not on TV? Why is it not even on Amazon?
well, it's gonna.
I mean, it's going to be. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
And I just love, I love the word hustler. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing.
No, I'm a hustler.
And he's a hustler. He's hustling out there. I mean,
You
just
gotta
talking
hustle.
about this A125 Studios.
Yeah, I love that too. I love it.
That's awesome.
I think that's so smart. And then you're giving back too.
Exactly.
You're giving back too because we have to. If we want to keep this work going, we got to constantly give back.
Yep.
We do have an interview next week, but I forgot what her name is. But it's another author. I'm sorry, my friend Janine. So my friend Janine Papio, shout out to Janine. She's not even listening right now. She hooks me up with Danny with these great interviews, and she's like, I have this author, and I'm like, yeah, I'll talk to anyone. That's what I love about our show.
She'll talk to a tree.
I will. But is it just me, or do we get to talk to the most amazing people? Here.
Everything.
We get to chew with such great people, and I love it.
We get to chew.
Definitely, seriously, please check out Sorry Ari because it's
SorryAri.com, AriFrenkel.com, A125studios.com.
Mm-hmm.
So, but seriously, Sorry Ari, I watched 3 episodes like that.
Yeah, it's like
and the way that it's I can't get over the editing because the way that it's
know.
edited, it ends and you want to watch more. It's very clever the way
it's
set
clever.
up.
It's really a well done show.
And I think I don't know, that starting with the Hamilton one was, and it was so funny because she was like, watch Hamilton.
Yeah.
It was the first one on the page.
Yeah, that's why
So-
I knew you would go crazy.
And it starts with, not giving anything away, but
it's like a heist
covered
film.
in blood.
Yeah, it's like, and he's like running, and there's like a convertible, and I'm like, what the?
Oh my God.
Just smart,
Yeah, very smart.
but not relatable.
And it's so funny that he
know?
mentioned, just real quick, how he mentioned how because he's doing the editing, he
Right.
has it in mind when he's filming. Brooke Hoover, who's been on here and she's done web series. I was in one of her web series. I was in 2 actually, and same way. She works the same way.
Yeah.
She has it in mind already because she's doing her own editing.
Right.
And that's how they approach it. Very, very smart.
Yeah.
Time consuming.
Yep.
It's really cool.
So
Awesome.
fun. Shout out to Kevin Lynch.
Kevin.
He keeps me on point.
And he also keeps random strangers from walking into the studio.
Yeah,
So
that
if
was
you-
weird.
So if
I
you're
don't
watching this later on, you're gonna see
Us
you're
go
gonna see us looking.
and me pointing.
And I want to point out too, you see us scratching our faces, allergies.
Yeah,
right?
I'm like my nose.
I was like,
I'm
my eye all of a sudden is
no.
like.
He's all right. He wants us to go.
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
we're done. Wrap it up.
We should give you like something to beat us with.
I know, or a hook.
That, like,
Thank you
a
all
hook.
for tuning in. We'll be in next week. Chew the Scene with Lauren
Yes,
and Danny.
tell your
Hope we're ready,
friends.
NJ.